dozen a year. It's as awkward. Sit tight, stand by. We're going to do this the fun way.
This is KGCI Real Estate On Air Live, your weekly deep dive into the strategies, trends, and tools shaping the real estate industry. From market updates to actionable strategies and exclusive interviews with top agents, we are here to unlock your full potential and help you thrive. Thousands of agents trust KGCI every week. Now it's your turn. Let's go live. Here's Ian Wheatley.
It's all about those growing pain kids. Welcome for eXpCon Miami. I'm Ian Wheatley from KGCI Real Estate On Air, and we are here for a special edition of Real Estate On Air Live. We are broadcasting your way live from the Miami Beach Convention Center. This is streaming worldwide at realestateonair.fm on that always free Real Estate On Air mobile app for iPhone and Android. Just search KGCI. Learn what 200,000 plus agents already know via the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Having an absolute blast. Thanks for eXp Realty for inviting us down again this year. And whether you are in the room or catching up on the energy from your earbuds this week isn't just about hype. It is all about building something that is going to last. Now, you might be thinking that events like these big brokerage conferences like eXpCon and elsewhere, that this is just content overload or back-to-back selfies with people that you barely know. But the value isn't in the agenda. It's in the actions that you take. After all the lights go down and after the planes start headed home, right? Because most agents, they walk out of conferences all expired, all jazzed up, and sometimes a little bit overwhelmed, right? They hear ideas that they are having, but they don't have the systems to put all of those practices into place. They post some highlights from the event. They don't follow up. So today and tomorrow, we're going to do our best to solve that right here from the Miami Beach Convention Center, live from eXpCon here in Miami. We are going to be going behind the scenes with top producing agents like Brian Copland, who's not just winning awards, but he is scaling his solo business with systems, tech, leverage, and we're going to be pulling back the curtain on what actually works. So you don't just have to take notes, right? You can actually take some action. We also have a conversation with Shane Carvalho. He is the co-host of the Top Producing Zone podcast, who's got a breakout presentation duty today here at eXpCon. But it is time to dive into those housing headlines here on KGCI Real Estate On Air Live. Well, the average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage declined slightly this week to 6.27%, down from 6.33% a week earlier. Now, that's according to data out of Forbes. Now, the rates for the 15-year fixed mortgages, they are averaging between 5.3 and 5.5%, and despite the dip, rates do remain significantly higher than those pre-pandemic levels still. That's okay, but because here's the deal, agents. The modest decline may prompt a renewed interest from rate-sensitive buyers, but affordability does remain a bit of a challenge in most markets across the U.S. Speaking of U.S. housing inventory, it is expanding a bit unevenly. We have new data showing that active housing inventory is increasing in many areas, with now 15 states reporting levels above those seen in 2019. That ain't so bad. However, national inventory remains below those historical norms, and the pace of growth is starting to slow down a bit. Housing Wire out with a report that looks at annual inventory growth, and that has slowed from just over 30% last year to 16% in 2025. So agents, while most listings may ease pressure in selected markets, supply does remain constrained in a lot of spots, and strategic pricing is still critical. And doing a fancy little Google search for, is the U.S. government still shut down? We're doing this live here from the Miami Beach Convention Center here on KGCI Real Estate On Air. And I just want to make sure, yep, The U.S. government is still shut down, and this is starting to have an impact on home sales in flood-prone zones, right? The ongoing government shutdown of the U.S. federal government is creating increased uncertainty for home buyers in flood-prone regions. Now, the lapse in funding for the National Flood Insurance Program could delay or derail some 108,000 home closings if the shutdown continues for a full month, according to a report out of Reuters. So agents, if you're working in areas that typically require flood insurance, you should be making sure that you're preparing clients for the possible disruptions and explore some of those alternatives as they come up. That's a check your housing headlines. I'm Ian Wheatley, KGCI, Real Estate on Air Live. KGCI Real Estate on Air Live. I'm Ian Wheatley, broadcasting your way from the Miami Beach Convention Center, around the world at realestateonair.fm on that always free Real Estate on Air mobile app for iPhone and Android. Just search KGCI in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. We are also doing our level best to stream this on YouTube, so find us on YouTube. Just search KGCI. Well, we are going to be catching up tomorrow. We have 5 hours scheduled with you live from the Miami Beach Convention Center for eXpCon. We're going to be chatting with eXp Realty executives such as Leo Pareja, the CEO, the founder of eXp Realty, Glenn Sanford, as well as some of the other leaders here at eXp Realty. We're also going to be talking to some of the top agents that are here. And also, we're going to have spending some time all day tomorrow catching up with some of our favorite KGCI Real Estate on Air hosts who just so happen to be on the breakout presentation train here from eXpCon in Miami. One of those who is doing a presentation today is Shane Carvalho. He is the co-host of the Top Producing Zone podcast here on KGCI Real Estate on Air. He's going to be presenting on a panel that's all about maintaining mindset while winning slowly. So Shane, thanks for popping by to KGCI Real Estate on Air. Thanks for joining us on this special presentation from eXpCon here in Miami. So for Shane, for agents who feel like their momentum is moving at a crawl, what is one mindset shift that you're sharing on this panel that has helped you keep showing up even when that scoreboard has remained quiet?
I can relate because I'm Mr. Instant Gratification, right? Was a struggle for me. I mean, I was new 26 years ago, but I still have to practice this with different things I go into. I think the first thing I would say, just to get that quick shift, is break it up into days, break it up into hours. Just try to win the moment, right? Look, we're too used to being trained to have these year goals and then no roadmap, right? Just like, okay, we got to hit this number at the end of the year, but then what? Like, okay, I'm doing this, but nothing's happening. Well, if you're doing it, even if it's like you're making calls and you get 3 answers in an hour, well, shoot, break down how many people you need to talk to get whatever result you want. Just work it backwards. Just know if like, hey, in 2 hours, I'm making these calls. I got to talk to 3 people. Yeah, that's not a transaction yet, but that's on your journey to hitting your goals. I mean, that's just a quick example. I mean, it could be, time blocks for whatever else you're doing, but just really committing to the process one moment at a time. And just having your journey like laid out, right? Like, and consistency more than anything. Consistency. Keep doing it even when you don't see the results. That's where most people fail. With diets, with anything else. Oh, I've been doing this for 2 weeks. I haven't lost a pound. Keep doing it. Like, right. Trust the process. Trust the process. Too many people don't trust the process. That's why 99% are here and 1% are here. Those people trust the process. Those people believe. Those people don't care what everybody else is doing. They're doing their thing. People think they're crazy. It doesn't matter. They're doing their thing. Be one of those people. Anybody can be one of those people.
Up market, down market really doesn't matter. You've built systems and a business that runs steady. What are some of those small, repeatable habits or systems that maybe helped you shift, maybe from like a survival mode into a structured business?
Well, I think for me, number one is I'm not transactional. I'm relational, right? Building relationships. I mean, I just had a client come back last week. It's been 19 years since we've had to do anything. 19 years. Found her way to me. One of my friend's moms, I helped her buy a house a while back. She wants to buy another property, but it's just relational. Like, I have a system set up where I stay in touch with clients. Sometimes life gets busy, or sometimes my systems are not quite on top of as much as I should be. but I've built the relationships and I nurture the relationships. And that's like an important staple to have success and to have a long-standing career. Being transactional, no judgment, because some people are transactional. If you want to throw a bunch of money at leads, if you want to throw a bunch of money at mailers, if you want to just turn and burn, hey, if that's your business model, that's fine. But then you got to be consistent with that. And that puts you in a whole nother situation where you're starting over every day. We all know in real estate, when the transaction closes, you're unemployed again in general. But think about if you built a relationship with that client. Maybe they're not going to do more than one or two in their lifetime, but then how about their whole circle? Like if you start plugging in where you're already trusted and known and you don't have to sell yourself, then all of a sudden it's no longer I'm unemployed after each transaction and someone new has to get to know me. Now you're just getting plugged in. And if you keep doing that, the snowball effect, then, a few years later, you keep doing 30, 40 million a year just off of sphere relationships. So that's where I would focus all my energy in building my business, is building those relationships, staying in front of them, always leading with value, always helping people. Like bless people, you always be blessed, right? Like not if you're calling, hey, remember I sold a house to you, who do you got? What do you want to do? You want to buy something? That is not like, I would cringe. Like
Ugh.
I'm even embarrassed to call people sometimes I haven't talked to in a couple of years because I don't want them to think I'm calling for something. Because
Yeah.
I'm not. A lot of these people I generally like and I haven't been able to keep up with,
Mhm.
So,
And you kind of allude to it, but what is that common trap that agents maybe fall into when things are slow, and what would you do instead?
well, we all chase the shiny objects, and now
Mhm.
with AI and everything else, like, and then everything that's on YouTube and all these other agents talking about what they do, like,
Yeah.
you go sit in one of your like masterminds and door knocking Joe, who's the king of door knocking, comes on, and you're not doing a lot of business. It's like, oh my God, there it is, door knocking. It's like, or oh my gosh, there's this whole AI thing you do in my database where it's gonna reach out to all these people. Or, oh, this guy's doing the text blasts, right? So the common trap is that you never get consistent with anything. You chase every last thing, and the same thing happens. You start doing it maybe for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. Hey, maybe you're really committed to it for 3 months. Oh, got nothing. This sucks. Doesn't work, right? So that's a problem. Or doing too many of them at the same time. Like I always tell, like, because I'm a mentor, obviously with eXp, as you know, as well. So it's like tell my mentees, like, I'll let you pick two things. Pick two things, right? So with me, if I'm your mentor, like I'm always preaching sphere. Like it's your business, you do whatever you want, but I always preach the foundation is sphere.
Right.
You have to build your sphere, and I'll tell you how to do it. I have everything to help you do that. And then pick two things. Okay, is it your Instagram? Is it your YouTube? Do you want a door knock? Are you calling expireds, cancels?
Mhm.
Pick two things. But then the other thing too is making sure they're picking things. Remember earlier when we were just chatting off camera, we are talking about
Right.
adaptability and following the market. Just make sure
Yes.
that, like, look, if there's a bunch of inventory sitting on the market, calling expires and cancels is probably not a brilliant idea, right? If there's no
Right.
inventory and you got buyers and you can't find anything, go find them something off market, right? So it's like using, well, I don't want to say common sense because that's obviously something that's a whole nother subject, but just really evaluating what the need is and then go figure it out, right? Like
Mhm.
that's, so I would say, like, go find a solution for the problem. If there's not one laying out there, go find it. But then the thing is that don't just try it and give up. Like,
Right.
be committed, be confident, be dedicated, and be consistent.
You got to you got to dance to the music that's playing, right?
Right. Dance to the music played. Let's go back to like the 1990s training video, right?
Right.
Dance to, and by chance I am a dancer, and like
Yeah.
to dance, like I love ballroom and all that stuff. Like, that's something that I can really relate to because I grew up in that whole thing, right? So it's like,
Right.
for people that aren't dancers, well, maybe this is your chance to be a dancer, right? Like, just really learn and go with it. But no, it's just basically like you have to be adaptable to the situation and you have to stay focused. So the traps are getting in too many things at once, uh,
Hmm.
following the thing that's a hot thing, but then not really learning the ropes or making sure it's applicable to your market. Or just even if you are just giving up too quickly because you don't feel like you're getting results. So the other trap is not having an actual goal or a strategy, right? Like, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
gonna go do this, but like you get nothing. Well, if you had set a goal for yourself, you thought, okay, you know what? The reason I'm gonna do this is because in my yearly goals, I'm gonna sell 12 houses. Well, if I need to have at least one listing active this month, this is a new strategy. I got to log all my calls, figure out like how many calls am I doing to get a pickup? How many calls am I getting to get an appointment? Okay, when you start going on appointments, how many appointments do you need to convert one? It's like, once you get that math figured out, then that's almost like seeing into the future. Like you've already figured out that, okay, this sucks because I just called for 3 weeks to get anything. But now that I've actually sucked it up and hung in there, like I know if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this. And guess what? As you get better and get more experienced, those numbers will even improve, you know, but for now, conservatively, like, okay, I know that if I really want that listing this month, I should really target 1.5 listings because maybe one's delayed, maybe one changes their mind, maybe one doesn't sell. Well, how many people do I need to call? If you're logging that and you learn what those numbers are, then you can quantify that into steps you could follow. Now, if you're following those steps and then things are not happening, then maybe time to reevaluate, right?
Right.
But who gets to even that point?
True. Very true. So if someone's listening right now and they're in that dip, what's that one thing they could physically do, literally do, whatever adjective we want to word here, but what's that one thing that they could practically do today to get back into motion without burning out?
You know, I was at my open house this weekend talking to one of the agents who's helping me with all my listings. And what I was talking about, and I know this from early in my career as well, is you have to stay engaged. And sometimes you don't have a listing. Sometimes you don't have, I mean, obviously I'm going back to early on, right? Like, is that I'm trying to be relatable to new agents or people that aren't doing a lot. Obviously I always have a lot going on, but I know what it's like because I've been there. Like we all started somewhere. So it's like, look, if you're not engaged, like if you're essentially, when I say that is like, okay, I don't have any listings, I don't have any buyers, or I don't have anything happening. So I'm just like looking at social media or surfing the internet, or I'm at the beach or working out, whatever. Like if you're just not engaged at all, that's a bad thing, right? So it's like if you have nothing going on today, then spend some time to work on the database. Go to the freaking grocery store and go meet 5 people and get their contacts. Heck, like every day, find a way to meet 5 more people. You know, you have to be weird about it. Like go up to some random strange. Oh yeah, give me your number. No, it's just like conversation. You meet people like, hey, can we connect on social media, whatever. Just like, look, like for me, like it's like the other thing about not being engaged is that like, look, if I have listings on the market, maybe I don't have a lot of things in escrow, but people are calling on listings or they're showing. See, I'm engaged, right? Like I have a listing. I mean, heck, if you're that slow, take that crappy like mobile home listing that you're like, oh, it's overpriced, it's not gonna sell. Well, heck, get engaged. Like because you just have to be engaged. There's got to be something. Go on broker tour, get an open house. Like just do something connecting with people in real estate to just get you in the mix, and then just start to build on that. You know,
it's important to take an action, right? Imperfect action is still action.
I say that all the time. Yeah,
you know?
Imperfect action is better than inaction all the time. Just like with referrals, agents complain about that. I love doing referrals in and out. 75% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Amen.
I don't know how many times I've had to say that. So that's the thing is like, even me, 26 years later, I do referrals in and out. Heck, I actually won when I was with this other big brokerage, this global brokerage years ago in 2014. I was number 1 in the whole company. It's like my claim to fame in outbound referrals. I closed 41 outbound referrals. I closed 32 units here that year for myself, 32 units here. I closed 41 outbound referrals. Those are 15-minute phone calls, whatever connections. Because we were going to other states and the price points back then were a bit lower. I mean, I don't know. Those referrals probably netted me about $100,000. But heck, an extra $100,000 for just sending out. I was making 25% of connecting people. I don't care. I'll do that again. Oh, hey, you're going to make 45 phone calls, and then you're probably going to close like 40 or whatever, and then you're going to make $100,000. Who wouldn't spend that time to make an extra $100,000 in a year, right? So it's like, so yeah, just it doesn't matter. Just do something. Do something. Like and yeah, they can reach out to me for ideas because trust me, I got laundry list of things.
And if it in 2025, in the interest of dancing to the music that's playing in 2025, what is that? What's the thing? What's the action? What is the imperfect action that you'd take today, starting all over?
Well, for those of you that have a lot of buyers or buyer leads, or you want to help buyers, like get over the interest rate myth. You know, let's educate ourselves on we're the professionals. we don't have to sit here and listen to people say, yeah, I can't do anything because the rates are too high, because that's just not true. Like that's just like they're not mathing right? Let's do some math. Call me. Let's do some math.
Do some math.
It's look, I know that I sound kind of like, I don't want to sound kind of arrogant or cocky about the whole, like, come on. It's not that. It's my tone is more just frustration, because like if more of us would actually take the lead, like we're the ones that create the economy, we're the ones that create the market. Like agents, consumers, like all of it, even the whole country. Like if we more of us shifted our mindsets, like a lot of things would be different, right? But most people are satisfied with what they hear. And now you're not just hearing it on TV. Like I hardly ever even have a TV on. But back in the days, the news and all this stuff, right? Now it's like social media, like your phone's always spitting stuff at you. It's like like I'm not getting into conspiracies, nothing like that. But I'm just saying, like, we almost get like brainwashed subliminally.
Information overload is the thing.
Oh, a lot. And then if you start seeing a common theme, oh yeah, they're saying rates are high and this is what the market's doing. Like, I was talking to a client yesterday, we were looking at property and I'm like, look, this is bulletproof for appreciation. Everything. Oh, but the economy, what about with the economy? I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, California real estate, this market, like worst case scenario, you're going to average 4% a year. $4 million, 4%, that's 160,000.
Right.
I will take that all day long. If I know that I'm going to make 160, then 180, whatever it is, 4 years from now, you're going to be like, oh my God, Shane, we're so thankful you pushed us into this. We're up $680,000 in appreciation. And that's if it's flatline. You're going to get those years that pop, it's like, so it's like, there's just like, dispelling those myths, right? Like all day long, right? And if you have that extra money sitting in investments in the bank, if you can control a $4 million asset, with even $800,000, do the math in your head at the end of 4 years. You just controlled a $4 million asset with $800,000, and you're literally up $500,000 4 years later. Where the hell are you going to do that without taking risk? Anyway, I know I'm getting off subject, but no, this is why I get frustrated, because clients that I'm helping are buying things under market. They're walking into equity. To deal with the rates, we're able to negotiate in buy downs. Like there's so much strategy, and there's not a lot of competition on a lot of these listings.
What for an agent that's sitting here, they're missing out at they're listening in, right? Because they're not here at eXpCon in Miami. What's a single action that they could take that's going to actually get them some momentum building?
That's a good question. I mean, look, it's tough to say. I think that if they're in a market where, properties can turn fairly quickly, I think that, a lot of times they're wanting a paycheck sooner than later. As much as I'm a listing agent 80% of the time, like I'm very big on, go get a couple buyers, go problem solve, go find them what they need, go get a couple buyers into contract, get a couple transactions closed, start building up that capital so you can market yourself and do a little more. I think if you want to build momentum and get engaged quickly, is go get something in contract. As far as like, buyers, like, oh, well, I don't have any buyers right now, or I'm not sure what to do. Okay, well, go out and meet people, but then call like 2 or 3 lenders. Just say, hey, newer agent, really would love to build a relationship. Like, could we do this? Could I maybe meet with you, see what you offer, what you do, and have somebody that, like, maybe you get somebody that never thought about buying, but it's like, oh, guess what? My lender partner doesn't cost you anything. Talk to them. There's these cool programs, buy your house for the first time. Like, just like start engaging from a buyer perspective, and then build relationships with a lender. Like, hey, oh shoot, I forgot I had this attorney or this CPA, or I had this, person that does a lot of construction and new stuff. Like, just like I always go back to Sphere, right? Go hit people. And the other thing I've done, which it's not really something we're going to get into today, but I've built relationships with local vendors. I've made this whole gifting program where I do these co-branded gift cards with small businesses in my community. And so, like, go talk to them, build a relationship. Hey, I'm going to put a credit card on file. I'm going to start giving out these co-branded cards. I'm going to send people to your business. When they come in with one of these, just charge this credit card on file. And then basically you're collaborating now. You're meeting the public, meeting clients. You're supporting small business. Small business says, hey, I had this guy come in today that, to get coffee. He's been talking about wanting to buy a house. So I thought about you here. It's like, you see what I'm saying? There's like, and the thing is like, once you start paying for coffee or something, you're paying for stuff, but everything else is free. Like, you could do a lot of free stuff, even like the
Right.
YouTube stuff. Obviously, like I started doing YouTube later in life. Like it wasn't something that, I'm such a like in person, such a people
Yeah.
person, like in people's face that I never really started doing all this video stuff. I'm always out there. But yeah, just I would say engaging with people and ASAP and trying to get a buyer or two going, because that's going to be your fastest way to build traction. And then, of course, once you start getting your feet wet there, focus on getting some listings too. But listings take money, they take time. And the other option too is if you do want to get in the listing game, then come to someone like myself, like a seasoned agent, say, you know what, I have an opportunity to get this listing. I'm new at this game. I know you have all these resources, you do a lot of listings. Would you possibly be willing to co-partner with me? Could we go
Mhm.
50-50 on my first listing? Like, would you be willing to help me use your resources, back me up? Could you go to this appointment with me? I've done that. I've gone to people's listing appointments or help
Yeah.
them get the listing, and then we'll just split everything at the end. I'm fine with that. So that's just these. I know you said one step. That's obviously second step, but that's how you build a momentum.
And there we go. Shane Carvalho, the co-host of the Top Producing Zone podcast, streaming right here on KGCI Real Estate on Air. That one, if you're looking to hear that Top Producing Zone podcast, that comes your way Tuesdays following this one right here on Real Estate on Air Live, which you are watching this on YouTube, you're knowing this looks a little bit different than it typically does because we are live from the Miami Beach Convention Center. We are here for eXpCon in Miami. Special thank you to eXp Realty for inviting us down again this year. And tomorrow is going to be our big special broadcast live from eXpCon in Miami. This is just a special edition of Real Estate on Air Live. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be chatting with eXp Realty founder Glenn Sanford, along with CEO Leo Perea, along with some of our other hosts here on KGCI Real Estate on Air who are presenting at this year's event. And we are going to be bringing you all the very best of the coverage today and tomorrow on Friday as part of our weekly Friday focus, as everything that you need to know, everything that you missed from eXpCon here in Miami. We're also going to be spending a lot of time tomorrow talking with many of the top producing agents as part of our 5-hour-long broadcast all day tomorrow here on KGCI Real Estate on Air from the Miami Beach Convention Center. But we're going to get a taste of what's to come right now. For a second year in a row, Brian Copland has come in third place for units sold by a solo agent. And he joined us last year as part of our special broadcast here from eXpCon in Miami. And he had an opportunity to sit down with us as well. So, Brian, thanks for popping back over to KGCI Real Estate on Air. It's happy to have you back, and it's good to see you.
Thank you for having me. This is always something I look forward to.
This is a lot of fun. So second year in a row, one of the top producing agents, solo agents by volume. How was that feel like, that accomplishment year over year?
It's a bit shocking.
Is it?
Because we all started at zero, right? In the beginning of the year. And I'm like, all right, this is a long row ahead. Here we go. It's January. And somehow it always works out.
It just works
So
out.
it feels good.
So what's a daily routine look like for a top producing solo agent moving the units that you're moving?
I think the key is really staying in touch with my clients, right? Lots of phone time. My family hates it. My office probably hates it.
Sure.
But that's the trick. The trick is the more discussions I have, the more opportunity it creates, right?
Right.
People do want to hear back pretty quickly in this instant world we're in. And I try to do the best I can, And so I get up in the morning, drop my kids off at school. I have 4 kids, which is nice. I love when they're in school.
Yes.
It's the best because I get in the office
Yeah.
at by 8 a.m. In the summer, it gets hard.
So this summer, because working from home, right, and doing a lot of this stuff at home with the kids during the summer,
They
it's
just have
tough.
camps and they start at different times and they get me out of my routine.
Yes,
Right.
right. So you get in, drop them off, you get in the morning. What's the first thing that you got to do?
So I'm on a wonderful coaching call called Survive to Thrive with agents around the country. I try to get on that every morning.
Okay.
And it's just some positive, positive air in your day, right? Get you going, makes you think,
Yeah.
right? Some people get up and read books. Some people get up and drink coffee. I don't drink coffee.
No,
I get the kids up 6:30, drag them out of the house, drop them off, and hop on that call. Usually, I'm on the call even before I get to the office, and so that's a good little 30-minute, get me up here, right?
Yeah.
And then I get it to work.
Okay.
Right, checking emails, responding. I always have a pile of papers on my desk. So I've been dwindling that down, trying to go through.
That's good. That's good.
Makes me think of new things that need to get done. But I do have a whiteboard. I got to tell you, that's been a big game changer in my life. I have a couple of whiteboards in the office. I've never had whiteboards, and it allows me to jot down quick notes.
Yes.
Like there's one that constantly has a to-do list.
Okay.
And it's just like, just quick thoughts that you have. If I write them down on a piece of paper, the paper gets under another piece of paper.
Yeah,
right?
when you have that paper stack at the corner of the desk, right?
And so the whiteboard has actually been a great hack.
Yeah. All right. So it's like that old school bulletin board, so you got the whiteboard. And that's pretty low tech. Is there anything in that technology stack that helps you run your business day to day?
I'm using more Granola.
Okay.
Granola is really great. I'm on a lot of Zoom calls. Even doing comms for clients.
Yeah.
I record those on a Zoom. A lot of times they're not even on it. And so I'm just acting like they're there and talking to them, showing them the market, right? And then I'll record it on Granola. It makes it really easy to send a follow-up.
Yeah.
And I have all my notes, on live Zooms. Hey, do you mind if I record this? Right. And it just makes me move quicker. With technology, I'm always trying to find things that make my life easier, but allow me to get more things done. Because not only I mentioned having kids, I get up early, but I also have to leave early because they're so active in sports and stuff.
Okay.
And so it really makes me think about the number of hours I have in my day and how I can make them most effective. And by using technology, it's really helped me.
Chat with Brian Copland, one of the top producing solo agents here at eXp Realty. We're chatting here from the Miami Beach Convention Center. We are live here from eXpCon here in Miami. How do you balance the volume with that client experience? Is there automations that are running this? Are you just like white knuckling it? Is there a VA, an assistant? What's that structure around you look like?
I am always looking for hacks.
Okay.
Always trying to use technology, because if I can use technology that allow maybe not client front facing things that they see work easier, but on the back end that frees up time to be able to have more client interaction.
Okay.
And so I try not to get bogged down. Now the other important thing is having leverage around you. Like I am always trying to figure out, do I need to bring in another human to help with something I don't want to do?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I have 3 VAs.
Okay.
I have somebody full-time in my office. And so I invest in my life, right? And that's really helped a lot. Before I came to eXp, I didn't understand leverage. Like, for example, I've never had a transaction coordinator.
Never?
In 24 years.
So who's doing it?
So I have a partner that I work on some sales with.
Yeah.
She's always done it. And I'm like, all right, we need to rethink what we do here. I think it's time to free up your hours in the day so we can have more client interaction.
Right.
More client touch points, which leads to more income generating business. Let's get you out of paperwork. And so I just brought in a TC.
All right.
So from the outside looking in, it may look very different than it is from the inside looking out. Right.
Right.
And like just mundane things that people are like, oh, I've had a TC since day one. Well, I haven't. So
right.
Maybe I'm late to the party.
Well, and that's unique, and it's interesting because because as coming at this as a team agent, right? Where there was always a transaction coordinator just like there, right? Learning to process transactions after under contract, and you get through all the various negotiations that come up along the way. That's a learning curve. That's a learning curve for chatting with Brian Copland. He is one of the top producing agents here at eXp Realty. He's a solo agent. And have you been able to leverage AI into doing any of this for you?
Absolutely. I mean, those who don't are screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can do things so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll give you a real life example. An inspection report came in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that pretty.
Yeah.
We need to renegotiate some terms. Put that puppy in Chat GPT and a custom GPT.
Yep.
It spit out the exact repairs, right? That were the highlights, estimated cost in my local market, and wrote the email to the agent for me.
Oh, that's nice.
I literally took hours and hours and put it back in my day by using that. The agent then responded and said, "Thank you for the wonderful email. It made my job so much easier."
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
Like those and then real estate, if you're not using this, you have to learn it. And it's a job to learn this stuff because it's evolving so quickly.
Right. And so when you're using these custom GPTs, I remember, I was using just mainline Chat GPT and I was like, and then I figured out how to build a custom GPT. It really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that hard. About how long did it take you to start to kind of go from, all right, I'm figuring out how to chat with Chat GPT to, all right, now I'm going to start making custom GPTs for these different tasks that are inside of the day-to-day of what I need to do to run my business?
Well, I think it starts with figuring out what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Amen.
Right? What are you spending 30 minutes on to an hour on that you could actually do in 3 to 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it comes down to. Like, at the end of the day, we get paid to have conversations with clients.
Yes.
And the majority of our day should be that. Mm-hmm. Right? And if we're getting bogged down on things that aren't allowing us to do that, we have to figure it out. And so I'm constantly evolving, constantly. That's one thing that I think makes me a little unique. I'm willing to try things. I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone, especially since joining eXp.
And how long have you been with eXp Realty now?
35 and a half months.
35
and a half months. November 15th.
All right.
22 is when I joined.
Got it.
Coming up on my anniversary. And it's really changed my mindset.
Mm-hmm. How so?
The culture here is one of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of always trying to better yourself as an entrepreneur. It's the entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with our leadership in a huge way. I mean, the amount of tools that we're given is actually overwhelming for most people.
It can be from time
in a good way.
In a good way,
right?
But there's a solution for everything.
There's a solution, and I try to pick the ones that work for me. Right.
Okay. Right.
But it starts with showing up.
Mm-hmm.
We're here at eXpCon.
Here we are.
I mean, an amazing event, and for an agent not to figure out how to try to get here, do anything they can, is short-sighting their business.
Yes.
Because the people that I meet here, the things that people are doing are bigger than I can ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to replicate by not being boots on the ground.
Amen. Amen. We're chatting with Brian Copland. He's one of the top producing agents here at eXp Realty. Only been here for a little under 3 years. That is surprising. This is your second year in a row winning this award. How have you been able to, you're talking about, iterating and developing and moving forward, right? How have you been able to maybe adapt? Like, what's a strategy that you've rolled out that's worked really well this year that maybe didn't work so well last year or the year prior?
Getting uncomfortable.
Okay. How so?
Having tough conversations. We're in a friend of mine likes to call it a competitive market.
Sure.
In Austin.
Yeah.
Not a tough market, a competitive market.
Yes.
And getting really good at learning how to be very honest and blunt, but lead people to their goals.
Okay.
And by doing that, it's like that morning call I'm on, right? Practice simple things that you don't learn in real estate school. Script, role playing, objection handling. When a script sounds like a script, you've lost, right? It's a roadmap to a conversation.
Yes.
And so I've really trying to get good at the basics.
Okay.
And I believe every agent needs that in a tough market, but you can thrive if you have those skills in a great market.
Right. And if you were to try to drill your success down into like a 7-day action plan, what would that look like?
Ooh, that's tough. Get up early.
Okay.
Get proper sleep. Take care of yourself. Right. Write down a plan of your goals. Figure out what day 7 needs to look like and work backwards. Right. What do you want to accomplish? What is the end game? Is the end game to go get a listing? Is the end game to call 20 contacts a day? Is the goal to put one new contact in your database? Right. You have to have an end game. Not everybody's goals are the same, right? So I would say, number one, write down your goals. Number two, it starts to create a plan of how to get there. Okay, find somebody to emulate who has been where you want to go, right? So I think having a mentor, having somebody you can figure out for those 7 days that can hold you accountable. Accountability is a big thing, right? So I think those are really good highlights. And then I think write down a list of something that you've never done before.
Okay.
Because you're scared. Because you have fear. Right? And step outside. Just do it. We all have things that, like, I wake up every morning, I'm like, I don't want to do it. We run from those like no other. But those things are the ones that make the difference in your business, in your life. That will take you from marginal to good, from good to great.
Yes.
And so I would say that's the action plan. Everybody's business looks different, but we all have things that we need to do that we're not doing, right? That are just, we're falling short of those goals because of that.
Right.
I believe that in every agent.
And you hear that a lot, right, from agents. You know, if you ask them, so you know, one of the all-time best asks is, you know, they have XYZ complaint in their business, and then they say, so are you doing these activities? And they say yes. And you say, all right, well, show me in your calendar where you're doing it. And they're like, you know, it happens. So what could any agent do this week if they're like, hey, I have this goal, right? I need to have more conversations. What's the one thing an agent could do right now to actually have more conversations?
Ian, do you know anybody without a phone?
You know,
right?
Over the age of 80, 90,
an iPhone,
you know,
Google
for
phone, whatever it is.
Most people have phones.
Those phones have contacts in them.
They do.
And those contacts, they may not all own a home, but they know somebody that does, or maybe they want to. Start with your phone. We are carrying supercomputers.
Yes.
With humans saved in our phone. And that's what I would do. I would start with letter A and work all the way to Z and start dialing. Hey, it's Brian Copeland with eXp Realty. Oh my God, I haven't talked to you in such a long time. I was thinking about you. Just curious, is there anything I can do for you to help you? You know, can I ask you a favor? If you think of anybody looking to buy or sell a home or needs to move at all, would you connect me with them? That's it. You would be surprised how much business that can generate by picking up and having a very simple 1-minute conversation and going down the hundreds or thousands of people in your phone.
Just as simple as picking up the phone, starting at the top of the contact list and just work your way from A to Z.
I guarantee if we had in the general session coming up, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000 people in there.
Right.
How many people have called every single person on their phone in the last year?
In the last year?
Probably nobody.
Very few.
Yeah.
Very
Maybe
few.
5.
Right. Handful.
Right. And so those are the things that are like back to the basics that we have to do to move the needle.
And you don't even need a fancy CRM to do it.
You don't. You literally need a pen and paper.
Pen, paper, cell phone. And just get going.
I mean, imagine if we all did that for 2 hours a day. Our lives would look very different.
Absolutely. Brian Copeland, one of the top producing agents here at eXp Realty. Thanks for popping by and visiting us here at eXpCon in Miami.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's always mine. And that is an awesome conversation heard here from the eXpCon in Miami with Brian Copeland. one of the top producing agents here, and that was an absolutely awesome conversation, and it has my head spinning in a couple different ways. But this is one of the things we like to do. We like to take some of those big conversations, break them down into practical, tactical. Here are some of my top 5 takeaways from that conversation with Brian Complin you just heard on KGCI Real Estate on Air. At number 1, your phone is a gold mine, so use it, right? Brian kept it pretty simple right there at the end. Start with the A in your contact list and start making those calls. But maybe you want to start from Z, we'll do whatever, whatever suits your fancy, but make real human conversations, right? Because those are what's going to generate some leads, right? You don't necessarily need the CRM. You don't necessarily need the automation. You just need a phone and a plan to make those calls, right? Most agents haven't contacted everyone in their phone in the last year, and that is legitimately an opportunity. At number 2, leverage is what equals freedom, right? Brian's business grew when he stopped trying to do it all himself. Yes, he is still, in fact, a solo agent, but he's not out here just in the wilderness all by his little own lonesome, right? He now has 3 VAs. He's got a full-time office assistant, and he's just hired a transaction coordinator for the very first time in 24 years. That's wild to think about. But the lesson here is that if you invest in leverage, you get to spend more time on where your income is coming from. And that's ultimately, in this business, talking to people. At number 3, AI isn't optional. It is absolutely essential, right? From inspection summaries, as he called out, to pricing renegotiation letters, right? Brian is using custom GPTs to handle a lot of these different tasks that used to take him multiple hours to do. And if you're not learning how to use AI, ultimately you are going to be falling behind. I'm going to be on a presentation stage in about 30 minutes here at eXpCon, introducing a whole series of how agents are leveraging AI in all the different facets of their business, right? And we're going to bring you some of those insights tomorrow here on KGCI Real Estate on Air. But if you're not using AI, you're falling behind. And his advice was pretty straightforward and simple. You got to identify what you hate doing, what sucks your energy away, and build some AI solutions around that first. At number 4, we want you to be sharpening your skills, not just your tools, right? In a competitive market, he's in Austin, Texas. Brian is crediting his success to mastering the bare basics, right? The scripts, the objection handling, the honest conversations. Those are key to not sounding scripted, but still having a structure that leads people to their goals. And at number 5, I want you to start every week with a plan and end with a result, right? His 7-day framework starts with sleep, clarity, and intention. He reverse engineers the week by basically asking, what do I want to accomplish by day 7? And then builds backwards with measurable actions. And a bonus tip here, include one thing that scares you, because that's ultimately where growth lives. Now, and those are the top 5 takeaways from that conversation you just heard with Brian Complin right here on KGCI Real Estate on Air. This is a special edition of a Real Estate on Air live from the Miami Beach Convention Center. We are here at eXpCon. It is the opening day. We were chatting with some agents during the opening night party. If you missed some of that, we're going to have some of those fun little conversations with the agents coming up as part of our conversation tomorrow here from the Miami Beach Convention Center for the final day of eXpCon. But tomorrow, we have 5 hours of coverage beginning 9 a.m. Make sure you download the always free KGCI Real Estate on Air mobile app for iPhone and Android. Just search KGCI in the Apple App Store and on Google Play, because tomorrow we are going to be chatting with eXp Realty founder Glenn Sanford and CEO Leo Perea, along with some more of our hosts here on KGCI Real Estate on Air who are presenting at this year's event. We are also going to be bringing you the absolute very best from our coverage today and tomorrow on Friday, as part of our weekly Friday focus. So make sure that you are tuned in, locked in to KGCI Real Estate on Air. Now, this is still a special edition of Real Estate on Air live nonetheless, and we love to do our real estate confessions. These are your stories from the wild world of real estate, shared with us via social media, sending us messages on Facebook, messages on Instagram, sending us emails at info@realestateonair.fm, or even just having some casual conversations around the KGCI Real Estate on Air broadcast booth inside of the Miami Beach Convention Center. Pulled a couple of those last night. But before we dive in, before we share your stories, we do got to get one thing straight.
Features stories from the wild world. Real Estate Confessions features stories from the wild world of real estate. Names and details may have been changed to protect the innocent, and occasionally the not-so-innocent. All confessions are shared in good humor and do not reflect the opinions of KGCI Real Estate on air, its hosts, or affiliates. No agent's licenses were harmed in the making of this segment. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, we're covered. It is time for Real Estate Confessions, because in real estate, truth is stranger than fiction.
Tried to shortcut through a staff-only hallway. Door opened into a private meeting with every major brokerage leader inside. I panicked, froze, waved, and said, "Sorry, wrong breakout." Then backed out like I was moonwalking.
Called a top producer by the wrong name. Twice in the same conversation. Then asked for a selfie. They still posted it with a caption, "Networking is hard."
Tried to make a live reel with a keynote speaker. Phone was on photo mode. We stood there smiling for 13 seconds before they walked away.
I dropped my phone mid-reel recording. It slid under the panel stage. I crawled in to get it during Q&A. The audience clapped, thinking it was part of the show.
Oh, those are embarrassing. Got a wild real estate confession of your own? I certainly want to hear it. Drop us a message on Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to tune in next week to KGCI Real Estate On Air Live, where you're probably going to hear your confession. And hey, maybe we're going to get some confessions from our friends that are here at the Miami Beach Convention Center. It is the opening day of eXpCon in Miami. Again, special thanks to eXp Realty for inviting us down to this year's event. It's been an absolute blast so far. The general session, the first of 4 general sessions, is wrapping up. We have agents beginning to pour into the exposition hall here from the Miami Beach Convention Center. We're going to be chatting with some agents and some other award-winning top producing agents, along with eXp Realty founder Glenn Sanford, Leo Perea, tomorrow as part of our 5 hours of coverage live from eXpCon here in Miami. I'm Ian Wheatley. This has been a special presentation of Real Estate On Air Live. And above all things, tune in tomorrow and be good.